words of the great Nelson Mandela. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. It always seems impossible until it is done. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. Beloved Nelson Mandela. Rohila Mandela was born in the Madiba clan in the village of Levesu in the Eastern Cape on the 18th of July 1918. His mother was Nonkwesi Nosenki and his father was Nkosi Mufahiswa Gadla Mandela, principal counselor to the acting king of the Tembu people, Jongiva Dalieba. In 1930, when he was 12 years old, his father passed away, and the young Rahila became a ward of Jongintaba at the Great Palace in Mokotezweni. Hearing of the elder's stories of his ancestors' valor during the wars of resistance, Mandela dreamed of making his own contribution to the freedom struggle of his people in South Africa. Mandela attended primary school in Kuno, where his teacher, Miss Ingungani, gave him the name Nelson, in accordance with the custom of giving all school children Christian names. He completed his junior certificate at Clarkbury Boarding Institute and later went on to Healdtown, a Wesleyan secondary school of some repute, where he matriculated. Nelson Mandela began his studies for a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University College of Fort Hare, but did not complete the degree there as he was expelled for joining in a student protest. On his return to the Great Palace at Mokotezweni, the king was furious and said if he didn't return to Fort Hare, he would arrange wives for him and his cousin's justice. They ran away to Johannesburg instead, arriving there in 1941. There, Nelson Mandela worked as a mine security officer, and after meeting Walter Sisulu, an estate agent, he was introduced to Leza Sidelsky. He then did his articles through a firm of attorneys, Witkin Elman and Sidelsky. Mandela completed his Bachelor's of Arts degree through the University of South Africa and went back to Fort Hare for his graduation in 1943. Mandela began studying for his law degree at the University of Witwatersrand. By his own admission, he was a poor student and left the university in 1952 without graduating. He only started studying again through the University of London after his imprisonment in 1962, but also did not complete that degree. In 1989, while in the last months of his imprisonment, he obtained his law degree through the University of South Africa. He graduated in absentia at a ceremony in Cape Town. Mandela increased his political involvement in 1942. He joined the African National Congress in 1944, where he helped to form the ANC Youth League. In 1944, he married Walter Siselu's cousin, Evelyn Mays, who was a nurse. They had two sons, Madiba Tembikeli Sembi and Magato, and two daughters, both called Makaziwe, and the first of whom passed away in infancy. He and his wife divorced in 1958. Mandela rose through the ranks of the ANC-YL, and through his efforts, the ANC adopted a new radical mass-based policy, the Program of Action, in 1949. In 1952, Mandela was chosen as the National Volunteering Chief of the Defiance Campaign with Mulvey Kashwela as his deputy. This campaign of civil disobedience against 6 unjust laws was a joint program between the ANC and the South African Indian Congress. Mandela and 19 others were charged under the Suppression of Communism Act for their part in the campaign and were sentenced to 9 months of hard labor. They were suspended for 2 years. A 2-year diploma in law on top of his BA allowed Mandela to practice law, and in August 1952, Mandela and Oliver Tambo established South Africa's first black law firm, Mandela and Tambo. At the end of 1952, he was banned for the first time. As a restricted person, he was only permitted to watch in secret as the Freedom Charter was adopted in Kliptown on the 26th of June 1955. Mandela was arrested in a countrywide police swoop on the 5th of December 1956, which led to the 1956 treason trial. Men and women of all races found themselves in the dock in the marathon trial that only ended when the last 28 accused, including Mandela, were acquitted on the 29th of March 1961. On March 21, 1960, police caused harm and loss of life to 69 unarmed people in a protest in Sharpeville against past laws. This led to the country's first state of emergency and the banning of the ANC and the Pan-Africanist Congress on April 8. Mandela and his colleagues in the treason trial were among the thousands detained during the state of emergency. During the trial, Mandela married a social worker, Winnie Madikizela, on the 14th of June 1968. They had 2 daughters, Zenani and Zindiswa. The couple divorced in 1996. Just days before the end of the treason trial, Mandela traveled to Pietermaritzburg to speak at the All in Africa conference, which resolved that he should write the Prime Minister reward requesting a national convention on non-racial constitution, and to warn that should he not agree, there would be a national strike against South Africa becoming a republic. After he and his colleagues were acquitted in the treason trial, Mandela went underground and began planning a national strike for 29, 30, and the 31st of March. In light of the massive mobilization of state security, the strike was called off early. In June 1961, Mandela was asked to lead the armed struggle and help to establish Umkhonto weSizwe, Spear of the Nation, which launched on the 16th of December 1961 with a series of explosions. In 1962, January, Mandela took on the name David Motsamei and secretly left South Africa. He later traveled around Africa and visited England to gain support for the struggle. He received military training in Morocco and Ethiopia and returned to South Africa in July 1962. Later, he was arrested by police during a roadblock outside Howick on the 6th of August, while returning from KwaZulu-Natal, where he had briefed ANC President Chief Albert Luthuli about his trip. Mandela was later charged with leaving the country without a permit and inciting workers to strike. Mandela was later convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment, which he began serving at the Pretoria local prison. On the 27th of May 1963, Mandela was transferred to Robben Island and returned to Pretoria on the 12th of June. Within a month's time, police raided Lelith, a secret hideout in Rivonia, Johannesburg, used by ANC and Communist Party activists, and several of his comrades were arrested. On the 9th of October 1963, Nelson Mandela joined 10 others on trial for sabotage in what became known as the Rivonia trial. While facing the death penalty, his words to the court at the end of his famous speech from the dock on the 20th of April 1964 became immortalized. This is what he said: "I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I I am prepared to die. On June 11, 1964, Nelson Mandela and 7 other accused persons, including Walter Sisulu, Ahmed Kathrada, Govan Mbeki, Raymond Malaba, Dennis Goldberg, Elias Musaledi, and Andrew Munglane, were convicted and the next day were sentenced to life imprisonment. Goldberg was sent to Pretoria prison, while the others went to Robben Island. Mandela's mother passed away in 1968, and his eldest son Thembi in 1969. He was not allowed to attend their funerals. 31st of March 1982, Mandela was transferred to Bollismore prison in Cape Town with Sisulu, Malaba, and Manglane. Kathrada joined them in October when he returned to the prison in November 1985 after having prostate surgery. Mandela was held alone. Justice Minister Kobe Coetzee visited him in hospital. Later, Mandela initiated talks about an ultimate meeting between the apartheid government and the ANC. 12th of August 1988, Mandela was taken to hospital where he was diagnosed with tuberculosis. After more than 3 months in 2 hospitals, he was transferred on the 7th of December 1988 to a house at Victor Verster Prison near Pearl, where he spent his last 14 months of imprisonment. He was released from its gates on Sunday, the 11th of February 1990, 9 days after the unbanning of the ANC and the PAC, and nearly 4 months after the release of his remaining Rivonia comrades. Throughout his imprisonment, he had rejected at least 3 conditional offers of release. Mr. Mandela immersed himself in official talks and discussions to end white minority rule in South Africa, and in 1991 he was elected the ANC president as replacement for his ailing friend Oliver Tambo. In 1993, Mandela and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Prize for Peace, and on the 27th of April in 1994, Mandela voted for the first time in his life. On May 10, 1994, Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first democratically elected president. On his 80th birthday in 1998, he married Grisha Michel, his third wife. True to his promise, Mandela stepped down in 1999 after 1 term as president. He continued to work with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund that he had set up in 1995 and established the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Mandela Rhodes Foundation. In April 2007, his grandson Mandla Mandela was installed as head of the Mveso Traditional Council at a ceremony at the Mveso Village Place. Nelson Mandela never wavered in his devotion to democracy, equality, and learning. Despite terrible provocation, he never answered racism with racism. His life is an inspiration to all who are oppressed and deprived, and to all who are opposed to oppression and deprivation. Mandela passed away at his home in Johannesburg on the 5th of December 2013. The life of Mandela and the works of Nelson Mandela continue to inspire us throughout the modern day. Of course, his famous phrase was, "Let freedom reign." He was an exemplary man, and of course he deserved all accolades that he was given, and he deserves more. He was a champion for Black people in South Africa, and of course he was all about freedom, equality, justice. Of course, his focus was on education. Now like, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, we want you to learn more about Nelson Mandela. We end with this quote. Words of a great Nelson Mandela. I am fundamentally an optimist. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed towards the sun, one's feet moving forward. There were many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not and could not give myself up to despair. That way lays defeat and death. Education is the most powerful tool which you can use to change the world. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and continue to wave the freedom flag high. Let freedom reign. This is your primary place for reviews and previews.